If you're wondering which HP Officejet printer is right for you, stay tuned because that's what we're going to be talking about today. Hey YouTube, what is going on? Brandon here with another printer video. Today we're going to be talking about the HP Officejet models. Which one may be right for you. We're going to be going through the different types of models, the functionality for each, and the differences between each in comparison to the price. So if you were looking to get an HP Officejet, but you weren't really sure what the differences were with the price, with the capacity, with the different abilities, or you just wanted to know the small differences between each printer, this is going to be the right video for you. Really quick, before I continue further with this video, I do want to quickly mention the Best Printers Cleaning Kit. This is the cleaning kit I promote on my channel for fixing a printer that is not printing a certain color or printing blank pages. You may have experienced this, you may know someone that has experienced this. There are countless videos on this channel showing you how to repair, clean different models. And so if you are having this issue, I highly recommend that you get the Best Printers Cleaning Kit. So there will be a link in the description below for this cleaning kit and for all of the printers that I end up talking about today. Okay, so I will be covering 4 different printers, starting from the lowest price all the way up to the highest price. And of course, with the higher price, what I've seen is, and this goes for any printer, is that the higher you go in price, the higher you go in capacity, in abilities. Overall functionality though will stay pretty much the same in my opinion, especially with these models. Right off the bat, I will say all of these models from the lowest to the highest price have touchscreen display, and they're all able to do smart tasks, which is you're able to use Alexa with them, you're able to use your smartphone, wireless printing, add apps to your home screen and use different apps through your printer itself. So that's going to be the same for all of these printers. But the first printer we're going to be looking at is the HP Officejet Pro 8025. This is the lowest price, this is the most standard. One thing I will mention right away is that no, it does not have a USB port. That could be a drawback for you. However, if you're able to get your photos onto your phone and then connect your phone to your printer, which you're able to do that with this model, that's not going to be an issue. That's the first thing I'll get out of the way with that one. Alright, so your input and output. Input is how much paper is it able to hold at one time. And so this one is 225 and it's able to output 60. Now that is within a specific amount of time, but that's going to be different for each printer. You are going to have to check pricing and the different offerings that they have for you to get. Here currently it's 4 months of free HP Instant Ink. You will have to look into that and make sure that that still currently is the case. But I will say with the base model, you are getting a very good printer. You have a top automatic document feeder, you have a glass scanner, and you have all the modern technology. You have a touch screen, so you already have a very solid printer with your base printer, which is a very reasonable price for a printer nowadays. So if you're someone that doesn't do a whole lot of printing, but you do still want to have something newer and you do want to be able to print when you need to, or if you do a little bit more than that, this is the right printer for you. This is kind of the starter. Just keep in mind it doesn't have the USB port. Just keep in mind you can't adjust the color. It just comes in one color on the top, and I mentioned that because our next printer is the only model currently that offers different colors, and we'll get more into that in a moment. Also, if this video is helpful to you so far, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so any additional information, if you want to see the ratings on this printer, click the link in the description below. It is going to be, each one is going to be titled with the specific printer. But our next printer is one step up, and you're only going to have 2 differences with this, but you are going to have a difference in price. And again, don't refer to the price on screen. I would highly recommend you click the link, check the prices. Currently, you'll be maybe watching this months later and it may be different. The 2 differences between the 8025 and the 8035, the first one is that you're able to change the color. You have a red color, you have the standard basalt color, and then you have a oasis color, which is kind of a teal, bluish teal color. So that's one difference. The next one is that this is kind of a promotional printer, that because it has the different colors and it draws a little bit more attention, they do have better deal according to HP for the HP Instant Ink. So the other one offered 4 months, this one is going to offer 8 months. Again, reference that yourself at the specific time that you're watching this video, but that's usually going to be the difference. There's going to be a little bit better of a deal according to HP for the 8035. I won't spend too much time on the 8035 just because it is very similar to the 8025 in all other aspects. Nothing else really changes. Paper capacity, input and output is the same thing. So I will move on to the following printer, which is the HP Officejet 9015. Okay, here you are moving up in the size of the printer. You still have the automatic document feeder, you have the glass scanner, you have, of course, like I said, all of these printers have that touch screen and the smart capabilities, but you do have more paper capacity for the input. However, the difference is not that big. It's you're able to fit 25 more pages on the input. Output is about the same. Just keep in mind when I talk about these printers, there may be other add-ons or extra things that HP or Amazon may be offering when you go through the link. For the purpose of this video, I'm just talking about the printer itself. You have more input, more paper capacity in the paper tray. So those are the three major components of the pricing for this printer, and everything that goes with it is it's a larger in size, it's got more paper input capacity, and it has double-sided printing. All the other features it had with the previous model that I've mentioned, this one also has. So this is somebody that you need double-sided printing when you're printing out maybe 10 to 15 pages, for example, and you want that to be double-sided. You want to condense that down to about 5 pages. This is what you're gonna want. It's gonna save you paper over time if you're doing that constantly. You are gonna wanna have some more space in your office, so you are gonna wanna have a bigger office, unless it doesn't really matter to you if you have just a big printer sitting there. But just so you know, this size of this printer is actually going to be a little bit larger. It's gonna be a little bit taller, a little bit heavier to manage. Our next and final printer, which is the HP Officejet Pro 9025. Now this one does, right off the bat, I will say, is the only model I see the USB port on. Now I say that because the past models, none of them have it. But my theory is HP at this point understands that there are smart capabilities with all of these printers. Most people are going to be using their smartphone. You may not fall in that category, but some people may be using their smartphone to be printing off photos or whatever it is. And by the way, all these printers, they print photos. They print on photo paper. So same thing applies for this printer. All of those features that were in the previous models are moving all the way up. You do have some significant differences here. The main one I'll point out is the output. This printer is going to print out much faster than all the other models. Is 100 on the output versus 60 on all the other ones, and your input is at 500, so you can fit up to 500 pages. That's double what the 9015 is able to handle. It has a much larger capacity, so this is something that you're going to want in an office environment where you have maybe 3 to 5 employees that are all having to use the same printer, or you have a household, you know, your kids, yourself, and maybe one other person, or just your general family all uses one printer. That could work as well if you're having to do a lot of printing. So that is the difference you have with the 9025. Those are the two main differences, your input and your output capacity. The printer is a little bit larger than the 9015, which was the previous model. So again, for the last time that I mentioned this, check the link in the description below, check current pricing, check the current promotions. You can read up a little bit more, anything that you feel I didn't cover in this video. You can either comment below, or you can check the listing page of the product itself that I direct you to. So one other thing I will mention about this is you do have double-sided printing with this version as well. One thing I will say, for all of these printers, they all have double-sided printing. So you don't really have to worry about that much. You can do double-sided printing with each one of these models. So that's one thing you really don't have to worry about. Okay, this model does have the 4 months of free instant ink. Again, check all of these. They have different promotions. Look into it. You're gonna have different promotions here. You also plus 3 months of Canva Pro, which if you're running a business, that could be very helpful depending on what kind of business you have. But Canva Pro for 3 months, that's a really good deal. This offer is valid from January 2021 all the way up until you've got March 31st, 2021. So again, if you're watching at a later date, you are going to want to check on that. Maybe they have a different promotion, something better, something a little bit less, but you're gonna have some promotions in there. All right, I hope I gave you a good idea on what all these printers have to offer, the differences between the printers. I have reviewed all of these, I believe, except for the 9025. I'll have to look into that on my channel. If not, I will be coming out with a new review video sometime in the next couple of months if that's not the case. But you move up, really the biggest difference here is the capacity with input and output. They all have the touch screen, which is amazing. They all have the smart task ability, which is really good. So I will leave it at that. If you have any questions at all about anything I talked about in this video, please make sure to comment that below. Also remember, there are links in the description below from the cleaning kit that I mentioned in the beginning of the video all the way down through all the printers that I talked about. There will be a link for all of that in the description below. If you want more content like this or you enjoy this video, please make sure to subscribe and like this video. That would be greatly appreciated. All right, that's really all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time.